I want to share with you everything you need to know about hair health and hair loss, and I promise this will be comprehensive and truly helpful. We're going to explore what causes women to lose their hair, how medications affect this process, which minerals are absolutely essential for preventing hair loss, and I'll tell you about 2 extraordinary natural remedies that can make a significant difference. Hair loss in women is more common than you might think. And for many, it becomes a source of tremendous stress and diminished self-confidence. Unlike men, where baldness often follows a predictable genetic pattern, women experience hair loss differently. It tends to be diffuse, spreading across the scalp rather than in distinct patterns, and it often goes unnoticed in the early stages. The causes are complex and varied, which is why understanding them is so important. Tell me your age and country in the comments so we can support each other through these hidden changes. And stay with me, because the final part of this video reveals the one simple adjustment that helps your body handle this transformation. Before we dive into causes and solutions, let's talk about what normal hair loss actually looks like and understand the phases of hair growth. This foundation will help you recognize when something is truly wrong. Hair loss is one of the most common concerns women face. And while it might seem sudden when you first notice it, the process has usually been happening in your body for months before the visible signs appear. To understand when hair loss is normal versus when it signals a problem, you need to know about the natural cycle of hair growth and how hair follicles work. Every single hair on your body goes through several clearly defined phases. And these cycles aren't synchronized. Different hairs are in different phases at any given time, which is why we never lose all our hair at once. The cycle consists of 3 key phases. The first is called the anagen phase or the growth phase. This is when your hair is actively growing, and this phase lasts anywhere from 2 to 6 years. The longer your anagen phase, the longer your hair can potentially grow. In a healthy scalp, about 80 to 90% of all your hair is in this phase at any given moment. During the anagen phase, your hair follicle is incredibly metabolically active. The cells in the hair matrix are dividing rapidly, the hair shaft is being formed, and the follicle is deeply rooted in your skin and well supplied with blood. How long your anagen phase lasts depends on several factors, including your genetics, your hormonal health, your nutrition, and the blood circulation to your scalp. When the anagen phase gets shortened, your hair becomes shorter, thinner, and weaker. The second phase is the catagen phase, which is relatively brief, lasting only about 2 to 3 weeks. During this transitional period, your hair stops growing and the follicle begins to shrink and separate from the blood vessel that has been feeding it. This phase is essentially preparation for the follicle to enter its resting state. Only about 1 to 2% of your hair is in this phase at any time. The third phase is the telogen phase, which is the resting and shedding phase. This lasts approximately 2 to 4 months. So to summarize, the first phase lasts 2 to 6 years, the second lasts just a few weeks, and the third lasts 2 to 4 months. Now, many of you wonder what's actually normal when it comes to daily hair loss. This is actually quite simple to understand. It's completely normal to lose 50 to 100 hairs every single day. These hairs are then replaced by new ones growing in. Anything over 100 hairs falling out daily is a warning sign that something might be wrong. I believe a problem exists when daily loss exceeds 100 hairs and when your hair becomes visibly thinned, weak, brittle, and lifeless over time. In these cases, the hair growth cycle has been disrupted, most commonly because too many hairs are entering the telogen phase prematurely while the anagen phase is shortening. So, when should you actually worry? Hair loss becomes a real concern when certain signs appear. First, when you can see more of your scalp than before. Second, when you experience sudden loss of hair volume in a short period. Third, when your hair breaks and snaps before it reaches the length it once did. Fourth, when you find much more hair on your pillow, in the shower drain, or on your brush than you used to. Fifth, when your hair is thinning, not just falling out. And sixth, when you notice circular areas without any hair at all. Hair loss that continues for longer than 3 months without any signs of improvement definitely indicates that there's a problem that needs addressing. Now let's talk about the main causes of hair loss in women, starting with hormonal changes. Hormones play an absolutely critical role in regulating hair growth and the hair cycle. Changes in hormonal balance frequently lead to hair loss. During pregnancy and the postpartum period, elevated estrogen levels prolong the anagen phase, which is why pregnant women often have thicker, shinier hair. However, a few weeks to months after giving birth, there's a sudden drop in estrogen. This hormonal crash can cause what's called postpartum telogen effluvium, a condition where a large number of hairs enter the resting phase and fall out. For most women, this loss is temporary and hair returns to normal within 6 to 12 months. However, the intensity of the loss can be quite significant and cause considerable psychological stress, which unfortunately can worsen the condition. One of the biggest reasons women lose their hair is hormonal changes during premenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. This marks a major turning point in women's health. During this phase, 2 key hormones, estrogen and progesterone, are significantly reduced. I've seen in my review of studies that after menopause, these hormones can fall by as much as 95% compared to premenopausal levels, which is a key factor in hair loss. In women going through menopause and premenopause, hair loss is typically diffuse, primarily affecting the top of the head and scalp, and the hair becomes thinner and more fragile. These hormonal changes can also affect the structure of the hair and follicles themselves, leading to slower growth and increased breakage. Another hormonal problem is polycystic ovary syndrome, an endocrine disorder affecting women of reproductive age. Excess androgen hormones, which are male sex hormones, can cause a male pattern of hair loss, meaning the hair becomes thinner on the scalp, while eyebrows and other body hair may remain unchanged. In addition to hair loss, this syndrome often includes acne, weight gain, irregular menstruation, and insulin resistance. Genetic predisposition is another cause of hair loss that's generally the least influenced by our actions. Just as men often lose hair due to genetic factors, women increasingly experience genetically driven hair loss in our modern era. Next, we need to talk about something very important that you can definitely influence, and that's stress. Stress is one of the most powerful yet most underestimated causes of hair loss in women. Although many people don't associate stress with hair, it directly affects the hormone cortisol and impacts your nervous system, blood vessels, and immunity, all of which are needed for follicles to grow normally. When stress levels remain elevated for extended periods, your body enters a fight or flight state that negatively affects hair growth. Hair follicles become more sensitive, weak, and can completely stop functioning while your body is under stress. How do you recognize that stress is causing your hair loss? Watch for these signs. Hair suddenly falling out 2 to 3 months after a stressful event. Thinning hair across your entire scalp. Increased scalp sensitivity. Hair loss when washing or combing, and changes in sleep quality are signs of hormonal imbalance. It's crucial to understand that significant stress can absolutely cause hair loss. Another critically important factor when thinking about hair loss is poor diet and chronic lack of essential minerals, vitamins, and other nutrients that play key roles in the hair growth phase. Chronic nutrient deficiency over a long period most often happens when you eat poor quality food for years, leaving your body lacking essential minerals and vitamins. This can be one of the main reasons for hair loss, and if this is your situation, you can solve the problem relatively easily and quickly. Let me tell you what else affects hair loss, especially in women over 50. The daily consumption of chemical synthetic drugs is a major factor. Hair loss can be a consequence of certain medications as well as numerous chronic diseases that disrupt hormonal balance, circulation, immunity, or metabolism. In many cases, the problem isn't in the hair itself, but in the state of the organism. Chemotherapy destroys rapidly dividing cells, including hair follicle cells. In most cases, hair grows back 2 to 4 months after chemotherapy ends, sometimes even thicker, but with a different texture. Beta blockers and anticoagulants, which are blood pressure medications and blood thinners, are another concern. A large number of women, especially after age 50, have been taking high blood pressure medications and blood thinners for years, some even for decades. We know today that when you take these types of medications for extended periods, one consequence is hair loss. Contraceptives and hormonal therapy also cause hair loss. This should be easy to understand. Anything that affects your hormones, whether it's hormonal replacement therapy or birth control pills, disrupts your body's hormonal function. The more you take, the greater the potential for problems. And one of these problems is hair loss. A large number of diseases also play key roles in hair loss. First and foremost, thyroid disease. The thyroid gland manages cell metabolism, including hair follicle metabolism. Slow thyroid function causes dry skin, dry hair, brittle hair, diffuse thinning, and slow follicle renewal. Meanwhile, accelerated thyroid function causes follicle weakening due to accelerated metabolism and diffuse hair loss, especially affecting eyebrows. When we talk about diseases, thyroid problems are significant, but another issue many don't know about is diabetes and insulin resistance. People with diabetes have a much higher risk of developing hair loss. There are also genetic disorders that cause hair loss, such as alopecia areata, which creates circular, smooth bald patches on the head. Lupus can cause permanent damage to follicles if scarring occurs, and psoriasis or dermatitis, where chronic inflammation affects hair follicles, are also important to mention. Now I'm going to tell you which minerals play key roles in hair health. If any of these minerals are lacking in your body, you have a significant risk of hair loss, and many people aren't even aware of this. When we replenish these minerals, hair can grow back better and thicker. The first mineral you really need is zinc. Zinc is an essential mineral involved in more than 300 enzyme-catalyzed processes in the body. It's especially important for hair because it supports the growth and renewal of hair follicles, strengthens immunity, which reduces inflammatory processes that can damage follicles, participates in the synthesis of keratin, the main structural protein of hair, and helps regulate hormones, especially androgens, whose imbalance can cause hair loss. The recommended daily dose is 50 to 100 milligrams of zinc per day. The second key mineral is copper. Copper participates in the synthesis of melanin, the hair pigment, and helps preserve natural hair color. Works together with zinc on keratin metabolism and hair growth, and supports the formation of collagen and elastin, which contributes to skin elasticity. For adult women, the recommended daily dose of copper is 2 to 3 milligrams per day. The third important mineral is silicon. Silicon is involved in the synthesis of collagen and keratin, increases the elasticity and strength of hair, reduces breakage, and contributes to the recovery of the hair shaft and follicles. These three minerals, zinc, copper, and silicon, are absolutely key. However, when we think about stopping hair loss and promoting hair health, you need all the minerals and all the vitamins in recommended daily doses. This is especially important for people over 50 years of age, but really for everyone. How do we get all those minerals and vitamins we need? The first and ideal way would be to eat perfect organic food that contains all those minerals and vitamins every day for months, for a whole year or longer. Unfortunately, we live in times when we've been eating terrible food for decades. The food from our stores is highly processed and contains no minerals, no vitamins, and no nutrients. If this is your situation, your only real option is to take high-quality dietary supplements that provide 100% organic doses of minerals, vitamins, and other things you need. You need multivitamin supplements daily. And if you know any manufacturer in the world that produces top-quality, 100% organic dietary supplements, multivitamin supplements, please take them for months because they will help your hair health. Be careful though, because I've seen that people are often deceived and companies can make money from you through misleading claims. I can tell you with certainty, after many years of working with patients and studying nutrition and natural medicines, that almost 99% of dietary supplements are very poor quality. They're sold to us as if they're something extraordinary, but they contain zero organic natural ingredients. Most often you're buying bad dietary supplements loaded with synthetic chemicals, preservatives, and artificial dyes, yet they're sold as natural medicines. The problem is that when you take bad supplements for a long period of time, you can actually worsen your health. If you're buying multivitamins yourself, make sure you know they're high quality and take them for months. That will be beneficial. You want dietary supplements that you can take for at least 3 months to replenish all the minerals and vitamins you need for hair health in pure, natural, organic forms. Now, how quickly can you expect your hair to improve if you start treating the problem? The results depend on the cause of your hair loss. Temporary hair loss can improve within 3 to 6 months with adequate nutrition, minerals, and stress reduction. In hormonal disorders, therapy can require 6 to 12 months. And that's what many of you need to understand. There is never a quick fix for hair loss. It will probably take you a year with a healthy life, healthy lifestyle habits, and the use of natural remedies for your hair to start growing properly again. Remember at the beginning I said that the first phase of hair growth lasts from 2 to 6 years, so it can't grow perfectly fast. A healthy lifestyle is important for your whole life, but especially count on 6 months to a year as the minimum period to restore your hair's health. What tests should you do to know the main cause of your hair loss? Proper diagnostics are the foundation of successful treatment. In women, hair loss is most often multifactorial and can be related to hormones, stress, nutrient deficiencies, genetics, autoimmune processes, medications, or unhealthy hair or scalp conditions. The first thing you need is a clinical examination by a specialist. This is the first and most important step. The examination allows me or any specialist to assess the condition of your hair directly, visibly, and professionally. I, or a specialist, assess hair density and the pattern of thinning, the condition of follicles and scalp, and the form or type of hair loss you are experiencing. From laboratory tests, you need a complete blood count because this assesses anemia, infections, or inflammatory processes. Anemia, especially that caused by iron deficiency, is one of the most common causes of hair loss in women, particularly in those with heavy menstruation, irregular diet, and chronic inflammation. You need to have iron or ferritin tested and zinc and copper tested, because if you lack zinc and copper, a very large number of problems can occur. You need to check thyroid hormones such as T4, T3, and TSH, which are key factors in hair loss. You should also check female hormones such as estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, and DHEAS, as well as SHBG globulin, which binds to these hormones. You can definitely do specific tests called trichograms, which are very important, and sometimes you might even need a biopsy. Depending on what the potential cause is, whether it's hormones or a chronic lack of minerals and vitamins or something else, we have to check that first. When we determine through diagnostic tests what's actually happening, then we can act effectively with healthy lifestyle changes. Let me leave you with information about 2 special plants which are among the best in the world for hair loss. My first recommendation would be to take ginkgo biloba, which is known as an ancient living fossil. This is one of the oldest plants in the world and among the oldest trees. It has been traditionally used in Chinese medicine for thousands of years to improve circulation and mental clarity. When you take ginkgo, you increase blood flow in small capillaries, which stimulates the supply of nutrients to the follicles. By taking ginkgo, you protect hair cells from oxidative stress and free radicals. By taking ginkgo, you stimulate hair growth because better circulation and protection of the follicles can reduce hair loss and improve hair density. Ginkgo biloba strengthens your immunity, which is very important for people with autoimmune hair loss. You can take ginkgo biloba in organic pure form, which can come as capsules, tablets, teas, tinctures, or powders. Perhaps the simplest version will be to take ginkgo biloba in capsule form for a month or 2, which will help you tremendously. If you're not taking ginkgo, my second recommendation would be an extraordinary plant called pygeum or Pygeum africanum. This is a tree that grows in Central and Southern Africa. It's traditionally known in local medicine for treating prostate problems in men. However, in the last 10 years, I've observed that research shows this plant has an extraordinary influence on hormonal balance and circulation in the body, which is important for hair loss in women. By taking pygeum, it can help regulate hormones that affect diffuse hair thinning, especially in premenopausal women, during menopause, and with polycystic ovary syndrome. This herb reduces local inflammation of hair follicles that can cause brittleness or hair loss. This plant improves microcirculation, similar to ginkgo, increasing the supply of nutrients to follicles. This plant supports hormone metabolism, which contributes to maintaining hair health. The daily dose is 50 to 100 mg daily, 1 to 2 times a day with meals, and the minimum duration for taking pygeum should be at least 3 months. This is especially important for women who have hair loss due to hormonal imbalance. These are 2 plants that I've found to be significant and among the best in the world for promoting hair health. As I've mentioned many times, when we think about hair loss, we need to understand that hair needs a longer period of time to recover when we live healthily. When we think about hair loss, we must understand that the healing process is gradual. Nothing happens overnight. Even with hair loss, poor mineral absorption, hormonal imbalances, or weakened immunity, the body needs time to replenish its mineral and vitamin stores for follicles to repair and tissues to regenerate. This means monitoring the condition of your hair and skin, paying attention to your diet, replenishing minerals, taking care of your thyroid, liver, hormones, and stress levels. The improvement that comes to your body after proper care is a symbol of clarity, balance, and renewal. It's the same renewal that returns to our bodies when we replenish key minerals, vitamins, nutrients, and natural remedies. That's why understanding that healing is a process requiring preparation, understanding, daily care, and cooperation with your own body is so important. Like any other chronic condition, hair problems need time and proper guidance for the situation to improve. Nothing in life is quick, easy, or cheap, even though people often think it should be. If you understand these principles and commit to supporting your body's natural healing processes through proper nutrition, mineral supplementation, stress management, and the use of beneficial plants like ginkgo biloba and pygeum, you give your hair the best possible chance to recover and thrive once again.